Code is a 1-hour introduction to computer science for kids of all ages. Participating in the event allows kids to explore the world of programming, which is a valuable skill for anyone to have in our world today. On behalf of Women in Tech Maldives, thank you so much for volunteering to become a mentor. We've picked a few games that are easy to understand for the age group that you will be mentoring. You do not need to have a background in computer science. You will only need to guide your students through simple tasks where the games will provide instructions on what they're expected to do. On the day of the event, you will demo the first 3 stages of your game and then let the students take it from there. Please note that you must complete the game yourself so that if any of your students struggle with a level, you would be able to guide them. If you are unsure of how to complete a level, find an issue with the game, or have any other queries, please reach out to us. So let's begin with our tutorial. You can begin by introducing your students to the game. It starts with a landing page where they can get some information on the background of the game. You can click Let's Get Started to start coding. So you can let your students know that they will find their instructions right at the top here. Their workspace is to the right here with the dots. Their toolbox is where they will find the blocks with which they will build their game. And as they're building their game, it will appear here in the top left corner. And so once your student has completed the objectives of the game, they can click Run to see how they did. You can let your students know how to complete levels 1, 2, and 3, and then let them do the rest of the levels by themselves. So for level 1, we can see that it asks to move the Create Background block from the toolbox into the Setup block. So the setup block is basically what's going to be there when the game begins. So we want to create a background, and there's a lot of backgrounds to choose from. You'll be able to select whichever one you like. And there's another instruction that says choose your favorite background image, but this will create a background, but it won't be visible yet. This is because the setup sets which background is going to run. But to see your background, you need to move the Draw Background block into the Loop block and press Run. Loop basically means that once you run your program, this is something that's going to repeatedly and continuously occur throughout the game. So what you want to tell the program is, as the game is run, continuously create this background as the background for the game. So we can click that into place. And make sure that your block is connected correctly. Once you drag it over, you'll see a little yellow highlight and you can drop it into place. And once you've finished, you can click Run. And now you will see that the background that you selected is in fact being displayed. For level 2, the instructions say, can you figure out how to create and draw a star on top of the background? So now we have the background already created and we need to create a star. So we're going to drag this into Setup. Again, you can select what kind of star it is and also the size of the star. But we also want to loop Draw Star so that we will be able to actually see the star. For this level, they're asking to create a planet. So now we've got our background, we've got our star. So we can create a planet, choose a color, choose its size, and period is how much further away from the initial star the planet is. And then we can also choose the angle at which it's drawn. And now we're going to make sure we drag the Draw Planet into the loop as well and then run it. As you can see, the yellow planet that we created is now a part of the game as well. Your students will be able to create their own planetary system, Space Jam, by creating planets, assigning nodes or drums to them, and then creating strings at which the nodes will get triggered, and then looping all of this together so that basically they get to make their own little music out of the blocks that they have learned so far. And they can run this and listen to it. Please also note and let your students know that if they make a change within here, if they wanted to change something, the color, the direction, the angle, any of this at all, they will need to stop the game, make those changes and rerun the game in order to actually see the changes taking place. It will not happen actively as you make those changes. You will need to stop and run again and you will see that it has changed now. And once they're done creating their Space Jam, they'll be able to click I'm finished at the top here to get their certificate. You can personalize this by putting in your name, clicking submit, getting the certificate that you can print out. You can ask your students to save this so that they have access to it later. And at that point, they can either, if they have more time, go on to the next activity, or if this is the end of their hour of code session, you may ask them how they enjoyed it, what they liked best, and to share their creations with the rest of the class so that you can all take a look at the unique creations by every student. Thanks again for taking time out to help students discover the magic of programming. This helps to broaden participation in the field of computer science. We hope you enjoyed the event as much as your students and that we see you again next year.